covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, good morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Zink, we're off to a beautiful start. Proof behind us here.
Yeah.
And you're here to give us some good news.
Yeah, good news is today, tomorrow, really nice weather continues. Now, by the end of the week, some rain chances. We'll talk about that Father's Day forecast as well. Right now, looks like we're going to be dodging some showers over the weekend. But let's worry about some nice weather until we get to that next rain chance. Current temperatures out there right now into those mid to upper 50s, low 60s across northwest Arkansas, across the river valley, starting off this morning into those low to mid 60s as well. Very comfortable as you head out the door. Now, as soon as you head out the door, you're going to see a beautiful sunrise for most of us, but you're also going to notice the haze in the sky. That's some wildfire smoke from Canada once again. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Here's a look at Futurecast throughout the rest of the day today. Lots of sunshine, of course, but by the time we get late this evening and into our Wednesday, more of that cloud coverage starts to roll in. Low pressure system starting to sweep our direction, and that's going to build in that cloud coverage. So for today, really this evening and into our Wednesday, we're at least going to hold on to a very low chance of a spotty shower here and there. Really, the rain chances return by the end of the week. So northwest Arkansas today, not much to worry about. Upper 80s, lots of sunshine out there. It's going to be nice out there this afternoon. Across the river valley, we'll reach up into the low 90s today. Today's going to be the warmest day this week. Of course, those rain chances towards the end of the week. We'll talk about that coming up. Let's take a look at some traffic out there this morning. Here's a live look out across the Bella Vista interchange. Quiet out there this morning. No accidents across northwest Arkansas or in the river valley as well. Heading into work, looks great.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Now we're going to get to your top stories in just a minute, but first we have some breaking news for you this morning coming from overseas where multiple people are dead after a school shooting in Austria.
Yeah, this happened in their second largest city this morning. The city's mayor says at least 8 were killed. The suspected shooter also died.
Yeah, at this hour, family, are arriving there on scene in the area, trying to get everyone situated. Police say they were deployed there to the high school building as it was being evacuated. They also say that there is no longer a threat to the public at this time. They're trying to sort things out right now. And of course, we'll keep you updated as any updates come in this morning. All right, well, happening today, the Arkansas Board of Corrections will meet to vote on a final contract with a design team hired for the Franklin County prison build. $75 million has been allocated for the project so far, which has been met with a lot of pushback from residents who live in that area. The Department of Corrections says that pending funding, partial operations are set to start next year. They expect the project to be finished by 2028. And there's new video of captured inmate Grant Harden being transferred to one of Arkansas's supermax prisons.
He had been on the run for nearly 2 weeks after escaping the Calico Rock prison. He was captured on Friday. The Arkansas Department of Corrections says that Harden will serve out his sentence for rape and murder at Varner. Both crimes happened in Benton County. He's also facing new charges for the escape in Izard County, Arkansas. Arkansas State Police, on other news, have ruled that Alma officers are justified in the shooting death of Austin Byrd. Prosecutors say the 27-year-old was armed and refused to drop his weapon during a confrontation with officers. This happened at a travel center on May 16th. Troopers have been tracking Byrd in connection to a domestic violence report and an aggravated robbery. You can read the full story at 5newsonline.com. Well, unhoused people living in an encampment on the University of Arkansas property have received their final warnings to pack their things and leave the area.
5 News reporter Jacob Luthi asked the university, why now?
This letter from the University of Arkansas asks those at the 19th Street property to leave by June 9th. Photos show UAPD and Fayetteville PD on scene, issuing additional warnings, urging residents to leave and take their belongings. John Thomas with the university says officers are also handing out information on local resources to those at the encampment. He says the site has become a public safety concern.
Over the last few months, there have been frequent reports of criminal activity in that area, specifically that our UAPD officers have had to respond to. We're kind of at the tipping point now where it's become a problem just because it is so close to those trails that are right there. next to the 19th Street property, as well as some residential areas as well.
Yannick Dwyer with Fayetteville's Forgotten, a grassroots organization addressing homelessness, says they're focused on finding long-term solutions. He says at the very least, local agencies need to come together to identify a place for people to go.
Despite our constant pleading, there is no other area that is even generally known in the homeless community that is safe. We've even moved people in the past few days to some areas, and they have within the past few days immediately been told by the police, yeah, you have a week to get out of here or we'll arrest you.
Sunday night, Fayetteville Mayor Molly Ron held a public meeting to address the homelessness issue in her city. She says that there is no quick solution and the city can't do it alone. She says partnerships with local churches, businesses, and the university is key. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Well, we've learned of Mayor Molly Ron's proposals following that meeting this week. In response, she hopes to add a city chief housing officer, appoint a task force to address homelessness, and call on leaders in area cities and towns to establish a coordinated response to housing instability.
Well, new this morning, the National Weather Service is confirming more tornado damage from Friday's storms. They confirm multiple areas of EF1 damage in Sequoia County, hitting areas near Vian, Salisaw, and Liberty. On Saturday, the damage was centered in Cherokee County, south of Tahlequah to Lake Tenkiller. Damage surveys are still underway, with crews working to finalize data from McAllister, Van Buren, and parts of northwest Arkansas. Well, the city of Van Buren cleaning up and assessing damage that was left by Friday morning's tornado, with more than 24 apartments left unlivable. Families are still displaced. We're told that they are relying on community support and shelter for the time being. We talked with the Deputy Director for Crawford County Emergency Management and asked what the community still needs.
The biggest needs right now is cleanup supplies, trash bags, gloves, even goggles, items to keep people safe as they go through their homes and pick up the damage.
People with donations who want to chip in are urged to contact the Van Buren Housing Authority.
Well, the Pentagon is mobilizing 700 Marines and 2,000 additional National Guard troops to Los Angeles as anti-ICE protests stretch into a 5th day.
This as the Los Angeles police chief says that he's confident his department and partners can handle the growing demonstrations with dozens of arrests made so far.
Introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents.
Meanwhile, President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, has threatened the arrest of anyone who obstructs federal authorities, including California Governor Gavin Newsom. However, in an interview with CNN on Monday, Homan said that he doesn't believe Newsom has committed any crimes that warrant his arrest. The state of California has sued over the deployment of federal troops, calling it an unprecedented power grab. The White House says that it's necessary to protect federal property.
Well, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing he's removing every member of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Board. He says the committee's 17 members all had too many conflicts of interest and is pledging to replace them with his own picks. Kennedy hasn't given a timetable on when he'll release any names for the new board members, though a CBS News medical contributor says there are also reports that RFK Jr. is planning to censor what data is presented at the meetings of this high-level panel.
This entire process is being injected with ideology in a way that will compromise trust in public health.
The American Medical Association quickly responded, releasing a statement citing the ongoing measles outbreak and a decline in routine child vaccination rates.
Well, security teams are also on high alert ahead of Saturday's parade celebrating the Army's 250th birthday. Heavy equipment has arrived, including tanks traveling from 2,000 miles away in Texas. In all, more than 6,000 troops, 150 vehicles, 50 aircrafts, 34 horses, and even 2 dogs and a mule will march through our nation's capital to celebrate the Army. The 1-hour parade begins at 5:30 our time, and a festival is happening before and after on the National Mall.
We're preparing for an enormous turnout, hundreds of thousands of attendees. It is our duty to ensure the safety and security of every participant.
Well, he says the Secret Service is deploying thousands of agents officers, and specialists for the event, supported by a network of federal, state, and local partners. The total cost of the parade may be as high as $45 million, with estimates including possible damage that the tanks will do to the streets.